Would I go coast to coast again on this bike, knowing what I know now? Absolutely. Welcome to Motos, Cades, and Coffee. Afternoon, guys. It's Andy from Motos, Cades, and Coffee. Having an adult beverage, and we're going to talk about my little over 5,150 mile journey on my Himalayan from Maryland to Montana. And I'm going to give you some of my thoughts, the reliability on, and the feasibility of taking a 24 horsepower Himalayan on a completely bonkers long journey. Camping, stealth camping, off-road, on-road. Just give you some of the highlights and lowlights, if you were. So the highlights are, for the long journey, we'll start with highway riding. Highway riding is not exactly the Himalayan strong suit, but it did really well enough. What I noticed is I could cruise around 70 miles an hour, anywhere from 60 to 70 miles an hour the majority of the time, with a lot of luggage on. And the Himalayan did pretty good. The comfort of it was pretty comfortable, and I had to make some mods, and I show in another video, which I will actually probably show over here, what those modifications are. You got to do them. You got to get a more comfortable seat. You got to get a cruise control, and those are probably the biggest ones. The bike again goes about 60 to 70 miles an hour. Top speed I saw was 80 from time to time, going downhill like in a headwind or a tailwind, but mainly 60 to 70 miles an hour on the highway. You're pushing a lot of RPMs, anywhere from 5,000 to 6,000 RPMs. The good news is that it's pretty smooth even at those RPMs. So the smoothness across the engine was great. Let's talk about reliability overall. Reliability, the Himalayan is a tank. It really is a tank. It's air cooled, it's simple, and that's great. We'll wait for some of these cars to pass by. I have a beer. I had a head gasket break, probably from just blasting down super high RPM, super long distance. Had a head gasket break, blow. It's air cooled. It didn't suffer any performance issues. It didn't suffer any mile per gallon issues. It didn't suffer catastrophic failure where it hurt the engine. The engine ran a little bit hot, the plug ran hot, and my pipe got a little blue. And I heard rattling when I first started, and that was just the exhaust coming out. But it didn't leave me stranded. There's something to be said for that. Didn't leak any oil, started every time. Yeah, it was super reliable and robust. I'm really happy with it. Again, comfort-wise, I think it was actually very ideally suited for such a long distances. I made some changes. Probably the most uncomfortable thing would be the windshield. I did not find a great solution for the windshield. I'm glad it had some. I tried a really tall, long windshield. I don't like that. I tried a little addition windshield, and that seemed to get rid of the wind blast a little bit. Mirrors, stock mirrors are fine. At very high speed, the left mirror started to go a little bit, but I thought the mirrors were fine. The suspension was great on the highway. It was very comfortable, soaked up all the bumps. It's a softly sprung bike. You gotta crank the preload down in the rear all the way, no matter what, and that really helps out no matter what. So it's a very good suspension. Tight, twisty roads, it actually does great. It's one of the better bikes for tight, twisty roads. Not that you're going to get a lot of speed out of it, but you can carry a lot of speed in the corners. In this bike, because it doesn't have a lot of power, but it's very agile for its size, will let you carry speed in the corners, and it teaches you to carry speed in the corners. Never once did I ever feel that I cooked into a corner too hard and was worried about scraping pegs. It really had easy to maintain a line, and I like that. It was more flickable than it has a right to be. So the twisties, it did great. And if you ever were very tight twisties, that's where it really shines, because the tractor like torque of this engine very down low. You just really pull out of those corners very nicely. and that motor is really good for it. Off-road, I'm not an off-road guy. I wasn't, and I still don't consider myself an off-road guy, but I went for it. I just went for it. The Himalayan gave me the capability to feel that I could do it, and I tried it. And I think my skill set's really improved on this entire trip. I went down hard once, which I think some of you have seen my videos have seen. If not, I'll show a link to that. But overall, the tight trails that I was on, I went on a lot of dual track, some single track with cracks and crevices. I was able to go slow enough, and this motor is tractable enough where you can really keep that low down RPM where I was comfortable. I didn't have to blast through anything. I could go to speed that I was comfortable with and not have to worry about losing too much momentum. I did carry my momentum, and I got better and better as we went along, but I really liked the trails. Dirt roads were the same thing. You could really just get on the dirt roads and feel very comfortable and confident with it. Fuel capacity. It was a 3.2, 3.8, somewhere 3.7 gallon tank, I think. Fuel miles per gallon, depending on where I was at any particular time. The higher altitude you got, the more and the better fuel economy you got. I explain it this way. The engine adjusts the lack of air, so it doesn't want to run too rich, so it reduces some of the fuel that goes into the engine. You don't get as much power, but you get a lot better fuel economy. I get anywhere from 39 miles a gallon to 63 miles a gallon. Again, the higher elevation, the much better fuel economy I got. That's using 87 octane. Love it. Love the low compression engine. The range I had anywhere from 130 to 230 pretty much. It was a wide range because I had extra fuel cans on each side that were a little over, I think they're 0.7 gallons a piece. So 1.4 extra gallons gave me a range of anywhere from 120 to 230 miles around that. You just had to watch it. Instrumentation, great, no problems. Instrumentation I loved. Beautiful instrumentation. I didn't go with stock tires, so I'm not going to review the stock tires, but I will say the Mitas EO7 were fantastic on-road. They equaled the Pirelli's MT60s on-road. Actually were a little more agile, a little more squirrely feeling, like you didn't have as much stability, but you did turn in faster. So it was actually a little more fun and flickable on-road with these tires, and off-road it was no comparison. They had grip for days, so I was very happy. The wear on them was fantastic. I just did over 5,100 miles, and I'm at maybe 50% on the front tire left, and on the rear tire with all my weight, I'm maybe 40% left, 40%, maybe 30% left, but I only had to go through one set of tires. Hold on one second. All right, so we'll talk about, again, it didn't leak any oil, didn't use any oil. Fit and finish is great. As far as the finish, I will say is probably one of the weaker spots on the Himalayan. I think it looks great, but you have this flat black paint, and normal riding, normal day-to-day maintenance, it scratches up very easily. Excuse me. I had a magnetic tank bag, and it got little pieces of dirt and gravel in there, and it scratched the heck out of the top. I'm not a big fan of that. I took a huge hit, and you can see the paint peeling off here, but I've seen this happen on other Himalayans. I would have maybe liked a set of clear, I'm not sure exactly how, but it scratched really, really easily. Panniers. And this is something that I recommend. Panniers are great. I think they're great. I've heard people don't like the weight on them. I think they're great. They kept out all the water, kept out all, I carried everything I needed in them. They're very robust. Never had any issues. I had my special camera mount on here. But what I did is I did not put a tail bag. I did not put a tail case on here. I used a soft waterproof bag and laid it over across to distribute the weight more evenly, keep the back rack from breaking, and that was really good. By having a flat surface here, I could carry more distributed weight evenly. Now, being loaded up, I was able to go off-road, no problem. I was worried that being heavy, I'd be less confident. It really handled very, very nicely, completely loaded up off-road. I was not worried at all. And there was not much change. That's the important part. Not much change loaded up. Just make sure, again, you're cranked up very as much as you can to preload. Chain. Maintenance was fairly simple. I did chain a lot on here. It did get loose quite a bit, pretty often. So I was tightening that all the time. I was lubing it all the time, which you got to do every 200-300 miles. I did it every 500 miles for lubing and tightening. That's okay. Checked the air pressure quite a bit. Never had to jump start it. Yeah, so overall very happy. The bars are great. They're aluminum Royal Enfield bars. I can't recommend those enough. People, you gotta get the aluminum Royal Enfield bars. They feel great. They're a little bit nicer handling on-road, off-road, a little more comfortable feel. I also have an inch spacer. It felt really good. I have an anti-vibration mount for my phone right here, which is really nice. Could put all the accessories I needed. The one thing, Royal Enfield, please, and I think Royal Enfield knows this, the hand guards, the stock hand guards do not work with the Royal Enfield aluminum handlebars. I had to get aftermarket hand guards. It's okay, they work really, really nicely. I'm really pleased with them, but they didn't even have the ability to have stock hand guards. Never had any problem with the bearing head bearing needing maintenance. Oh, let's talk about brakes. Front brakes. I got the exception. The front brakes on the Himalayan I thought were always better than average. People said they didn't stop very well. I found so much grip with the front brakes. I've had many bikes. I don't know why. I thought the front brakes were very, very nice, and the back brake was better than average as well too. I could really cook into the corners hard and hit that front brake and had no issues. That being said, over cooking the brakes and going hard and using all this weight, I did notice right now that there's a little bit of vibration in there. The caliper may be a little bit warped, so I'll get that taken a look at and probably put a new set of brakes on there. We'll wait one more second for the car to go by. I did a lot of night driving, so I have a LED front headlight. People ask me where I got it all the time. I didn't buy it, it came with the bike. It is a 7-inch round LED light, bought off eBay for like $35, $45. You can search 7-inch round LED headlight. Jeeps use them. It was in there and it made a world of difference. Barely had to use brights, but it was really good to have that headlight. A lot of chargers. Chargers work really good. I plugged them into the battery. I've long since got rid of the stock battery. I think most people have had that. I've had a head bolt that was leaking. We got that adjusted and fixed it. It hasn't been leaking since. The oil cooled worked great. What else? All right, I think that's really it for the trip. What I wanted to talk about mainly is the reliability and what I thought of the Himalayan. That's a lot to digest. Let me know what questions you have. I'll be happy to answer them in the comments. I got my next trip planned. Oh, one more thing. I always, there's rubber mounted foot pegs here. And it takes out some of the vibration that you get in the foot pegs. But I actually took this off when I went off-roading, and I ended up leaving them off because it gives you that much extra hip to foot distance, and you can stretch your legs out that much longer. I have a tall comfort seat here, and I enjoyed the extra leg room over the vibration. It wasn't that much vibration anyway. Didn't use the side stand very much. just because, as people have known, it's a little long. I think the new Himalayans have adjusted that. Hard to find a good balance point for it, so I ended up using the center stand quite a bit. Yeah. I got looks, comments, questions everywhere I went. Everyone loves the looks of this bike. Can you go cross country? Well, yes, the answer is yes. The amount of miles I drove in 2 weeks was about the exact same miles you can go cross country. I could have gone a few extra days and actually made it coast to coast, no problem. Would I go coast to coast again on this bike, knowing what I know now? Absolutely. No questions. It was that good of a bike. It was that easy to drive, that easy to go off-road. The fact that it's that lightweight, I could go on trails that I would not feel comfortable on a heavier bike. What would I change? Do I need a 6th gear? No, you don't need a 6th gear. You couldn't use it anyway. For the amount of power that you have, no, you couldn't use it. Could it use more power? Yeah, a little bit, but it's not dramatic enough. I mean, you still got 60, 70 miles an hour on the highway. Even if you had more power, you really aren't passing that much. Still, you wouldn't pass that much. It has the power it needs it, and that's in the down low torque for lugging along, driving at in highest gear, and also lugging on the trails. What I will say about the power is it's very linear. It's not peaky at all. The torque down low transfers right to the horsepower, so it's a very linear power band, and I give kudos to Royal Enfield for developing it just like that. 411 cc's, relatively lightweight. It's a hit, it's a win. They're going to sell a million of these bikes. Every dealer I talked to said they're all sold out and they couldn't wait to get more. They're going to continue to sell them. Royal Enfield did sponsor me. They gave me some parts that we talked about, including these bars, a jacket, and so forth, and I thank you again for that. I had a really good time. Hope you guys watched like my adventures. If you have any questions, again, please let me know. Please like and subscribe to this video, and subscribe to my channel. So please like this channel, subscribe to please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Much appreciate that, and let me know what questions you have. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your Himalayan.